All right, we bring our jury back in, please. Everybody rise. Thank you. Have a seat, please. And who will be our next witness?
Kim Littlejohn, Your Honor.
Ma'am, if you'll step up here next to me, please. You'll raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Have a seat, please. And ma'am, if you'll speak up into that small black microphone there in front of you, that'll help me hear. And if you'll tell me both your first name and last name and spell them both.
Linda Littlejohn.
And I'm sorry. Go ahead.
LindalittlejOhn.
And I might have said Kim, but it's Linda.
Okay.
And Miss Littlejohn, by whom are you employed?
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Crime Laboratory in Nashville.
And what title or what duties do you perform there?
I'm a special agent forensic scientist supervisor in the microanalysis section.
And if you would give us the benefit of your education and background that qualifies you to be a forensic scientist in the microanalysis section.
In August of 1985, I received a Bachelor of Science degree in the major of chemistry from the University of Tennessee at Martin. Upon employment with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation in October of 1988, I correctly completed a 2-year training program in the areas of shoe print comparison, fiber comparison, and physical comparison. During this 2-year training program, I correctly completed numerous proficiency tests in each of these areas under the direct supervision of other court-qualified forensic scientists. I've attended several classes and international symposiums at the Federal Bureau of Investigation Training Academy in Quantico, Virginia. I'm also a member of 3 professional forensic scientist organizations and attend meetings and workshops dealing with these areas.
And how long have you been employed at the TBI Crime Laboratory in Nashville?
About 23 and a half years.
And can you estimate the number of times you've testified as an expert in the area of microanalysis?
It's around 110 or 15, something like that.
And have you testified here in Rutherford County in the circuit court before?
Yes, I have.
And have you ever been not allowed to testify as an expert in that area?
No, I have not.
Your Honor, we would offer Ms. Littlejohn as a expert in the field of microanalysis.
Any objection? No, sir. Okay, I'll give her opinion.
Ms. Littlejohn, I want to call your attention to an examination. Well, let me start by asking you this. Tell us what microanalysis is.
Well, it's the section of the laboratory that perform numerous examinations. We analyze, in addition to the 3 I've named, the shoe print, physical examinations, and fiber comparisons. We also analyze glass, paint, fiber debris, gunshot residue, chemical analysis. So it's an area that multi-disciplines are performed.
And if you would, tell us if you were asked to conduct an investigation or examination in a case involving a subject by the name of Shanterrica Madden and an alleged victim, Clantina Stewart, of items submitted to you by Detective Mike Taylor of the Murfreesboro Police Department.
Yes, sir.
And specifically, what items were you requested to examine?
I examined a broken knife from a dumpster, 2 knives from a dumpster, and a bra from Shanterrica Madden.
And let me show to you what has previously been marked as Exhibit 142, and I'll turn this over. And I don't know if you can see the items inside, but do you see these 2 stickers?
Yes, I can identify it by my case number.
Okay. And what is the item or items contained in this particular package?
Those are the 2 pieces of the broken knife identified as coming from the dumpster.
And with the permission of the court, without objection, I'd like to open this container, Young.
Yeah.
While I'm opening this, let me ask you this, Ms. Littlejohn. I'm showing you what has previously been marked as Exhibit 161, and I'll ask you to look at that and tell me if you can identify that photo or those photographs.
I don't believe those are photographs that I took personally, but they do appear to be the knife in question.
Okay, let me zoom in on the number here at the bottom and ask you to look at that and tell me if that corresponds with your case number.
Yes, it does.
And did you have occasion to take any measurements of that particular item or those items?
Yes, I did.
And if you would, tell us, there appears to be a picture of both sides of a knife blade. Did you measure that?
Yes, I did.
And what were your measurements that you got for that?
The knife blade was approximately 3.5 inches long, the broken part.
All right. And I'm now placing this item on the screen, and I'll ask you to look at that and tell me if you can identify that.
Yes, it has my case number and my initials on it.
And is that the knife blade that you mentioned measuring?
Yes.
Now, tell us how you measured that.
I used a ruler.
Okay. And I want to hold it up now, if I can, and I'll put it that way. What can you tell us about that particular knife blade, looking at the way it's now on the screen?
It's a bent knife blade.
Okay. And then looking at it this way.
Yeah, it's serrated, a serrated blade.
And looking, I want to do it this way. Do you see what appears to be any type of substance on that blade?
I would call that a reddish-brown stain.
Okay. And when something is possibly blood, is reddish-brown stain the scientific terminology that forensic scientists typically use?
Yes, it is.
Let me show you this item and ask you to look at that and tell me if you can identify that, please.
Yes, that's the other part of the knife, and again, I can identify it with my case number and my initials.
Okay, and this would be the other side?
Yes, sir.
And there are three, what look like dots. Tell us what those are, please, ma'am.
Those are the wells or the bolts that hold the knife handle to the blade.
All right, and there appears like there may be a portion of the handle missing. Is that also correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Then I want to zoom in on the remainder of the blade, and there appears to be some substance there, and can you tell me what that appears to be?
Again, a reddish-brown stain.
And did you have occasion to measure this portion of the broken knife?
Yes, the side of the handle, well, the blade that's present is about an inch long, and then the unbroken side of the handle is approximately 4 inches and 4 1/8 inch long. And there is a little piece missing on the other side. That side is 3 3/4 inches long.
And can you tell me, please, ma'am, what the overall length of the knife would be if it was not broken, blade and handle?
Well, if you just add that together in my head, it's approximately 8 5/8 inches long.
Now, what examination were you asked to make of this particular knife in regards to microanalysis?
I was asked to do a physical comparison to see if those two pieces may have one time been joined to form one knife.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's what we call a fracture match. When an item has been broken into 2 or more pieces, it can be possible to look along that fracture line to compare the individual characteristics that may be there see if they correspond along that fracture line to conclude that those two items have, at one time been joined, and that's what I did in this case.
Now, I'm taking both parts, and I'm going to place them on the screen as best I can. And when you say join the two pieces, you mean something like this. Is that correct?
Yes, I look at those two pieces under the microscope and look at those, the edges to see the broken areas. Those are individual characteristics. When an item is broken, every time it has different strength, different pressure that it takes to break that item. So you're going to have irregular shapes along that fracture line. So if you look at these two items and see that those match up, along that fracture line, then you're able to conclude that those two items at one time were joined.
And just doing it here with the naked eye, would it be a fair statement this does not begin to show the detail that the microscope would show?
That's correct, but those two items do match.
And after your microscopic examination, did you come to any conclusion concerning this particular knife?
Yes, I concluded that the two pieces of the knife reveal the presence of matching characteristics along the fracture line to conclude that these two pieces had at one time been joined.
Now, Miss Littlejohn, are you or are you not qualified, or can you tell us what caused the knife to be broken?
No, I cannot tell you that.
Now, in addition to the two tubes that contain the two parts of the knife, there are two other items in this package, and do you know what they would be?
Those would be swabs taken by the DNA examiner.
Would the swabs and the DNA analysis have been done prior to the knife coming to you for examination?
Yes, actually, we all looked at the knife. The three examiners looked at them at the same time, and then I looked at them for a fracture match after all the other processing had been done.
And that would include the DNA analysis?
Yes,
and also the latent print analysis?
That's correct.
Now, I believe you were also asked to, in addition to the broken knife, which has been marked as Exhibit 142, you were asked to examine two other knives. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And where were they identified as having been located?
Also identified as coming from a dumpster.
Okay, and I'm going to place on the screen Exhibit 138, and I'm going to flip this over and ask you to look at that, and in particular the labels, and tell me if you can identify what these two items are.
Yes, that's my Exhibit 12, which were the knives from the dumpster.
Okay. And were you, rather than take these out, can you see on the screen by looking past the tags what's contained herein, or I'll pass it, either one?
I can see the knife blade present there.
And what examination did you perform on these two knives, please, ma'am?
I just did a general physical examination to whether they were consistent with the broken knife blade. I took some measurements, but I also laid them out side by side to see if the physical characteristics were the same, and they were. They're black-handled knives. They both said, or all three of them said, stainless steel China 41 on the blade. So they were generally consistent with physical construction and size.
Now, in regard to the broken knife, I want to go back to that Exhibit 2, your Exhibit 2A, our Exhibit 142. Did you, after you made your comparison through the microscope, make any field notes or diagrams regarding your observations?
Yes, I did.
And do you have those with you?
I do.
And would it be possible for me to get those from you?
A copy of them?
Yes, ma'am. We'll use yours, and then we'll get a copy.
Okay. Oh, yes, yes, sir.
let me show you this diagram and ask you to look at that and tell me if you can identify that, please, ma'am.
That's just the drawing that I made in my notes to show, what the edges of that knife look like, more or less, as they fracture match together. That's representing the fact that it's a jagged edge across that fracture line.
Okay. And then also, these are the photographs that you made that we have seen earlier. And as a matter of fact, the two at the bottom show the measurements that you've earlier testified to. Is that also correct?
It shows where I laid them out next to the ruler, yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, if I could get a copy of this page right here.
Did you want the photograph too? 'Cause we
No, sir, I'm going to work on that just a minute.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Littlejohn, was there a third item you were asked to examine?
Yes, it was a bra from the subject.
And the subject is listed as Ms. Madden.
Yes, sir.
Let me show what's previously been marked as Exhibit 151 and ask you to look at this and tell me if you can identify it. And I'll try to zoom in here on your number.
It's easier sometimes to look up here to the right up there on the screen.
Okay. Yes, that is my exhibit number and the case number.
Okay. And you see the exhibit number 13A?
Yes, sir.
And what analysis were you asked to perform on this particular item?
I was asked to look at this item and see if I could tell if it had been cut with a knife or scissors.
And did you do that?
Well, when I examined the item, which is a bra, the fabric separation that was in that garment was along the seam. So it was like it had come unsewn. So there wasn't a question of was there a knife cut in the garment. It was unsewn at the garment line there, at the hem line.
And you see some, it appears like some writing here, some spots and some cuts here. Did you do that?
No, I did not.
That would have been some other member of the laboratory?
Yes.
Now, as a result of examining this item, did you also make some photographs of it?
I did.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to make the diagram of the knife the next exhibit.
Okay. What number that be, Madam Clerk?
163.
Thank you.
And I'm going to now show you some photographs in addition to the photographs of the knife earlier. Do you see this item here?
Yes, sir.
And is that Exhibit 13A, the bra that you just identified?
Yes, it is.
And likewise, these photographs here.
Yes.
Now, one last set of photographs that I don't think I asked you about earlier, but can you tell me what these 3 photographs are?
Yes, those are photographs I took through the microscope of the edge of the knife.
Okay, and then 2 more.
Yeah, those are the actual fracture line and how they match up across that fracture line.
If I could, Your Honor, now, sorry to run.
Go ahead, Ms. Kimbrough. You take
I'd like to have a copy of all the photographs now, please, ma'am. Thank you. Miss Littlejohn, did I give you your notes back?
No, she has them.
Okay. And did you generate a report regarding the items you've testified here today?
I did.
And let me show you this and ask you to look at it and tell me if you can identify that.
Yes, that appears to be a copy of my report.
And your findings are listed, or the results are listed at the bottom of that page. And then your signature is on page 2. Is that also correct?
Yes, sir.
If I could ask that this, after the pictures, this be the next exhibit.
I'm going to pass that to the clerk.
Your Honor, that's all of my questions.
Wait just a second for Ms. Kimbrough to get back with the pictures. Good.
I'll ask a question while we're waiting.
Okay.
Are all the opinions that you've given, Ms. Littlejohn, to a reasonable degree of your scientific certainty in your area of expertise?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now that you go ahead, Mr. Brown, we'll get through, we'll just stop and we'll introduce.
Don't have any questions.
Okay. Any questions from our jurors? I see any. Thank you, ma'am. You sit down. Free to say in the court, we're free to